Welcome to Saturday versus Sunday. I'm Jeff Dover. With me is John Barban. Let's talk football.
Yeah, we're going to do our NFL Week 13 picks and previews. So some of the games we're betting on and just some of the games we want to watch that we think are going to be good ones.
Good Thanksgiving week. You know, this is messing with my work week because here in Canada, we don't get Thursday or Friday off. So
That's right.
I got to just put a sign on the door saying busy and, don't bother me.
That country's all out of whack. They need to just adopt this as the same Thanksgiving.
Very true.
All right. Shall I start here?
Please.
All right. Bears at Lions.
Okay.
The Bears aren't really a team. I don't know what to make of the Bears. I mean, they could have had, like we discussed, they could have had the best comeback ever, and instead they just blew it in overtime. But I'm just going over 48.5.
Oh, are you? Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. I think the Bears, obviously I need the Bears to contribute something to this total.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to at least get something here. And I think the Lions are going to do the Lions thing at home and score a bunch of points here.
Yeah, you're going to need like 20 points by the Bears, probably, because it'd be like 20 to 30, and that would give us 50, which would put us over. So it's going to be
something like that. I know it's a high total.
Scoring, yeah, it's a pretty high scoring game, but that's that. I was leaning toward Bears plus the 11 just because that's a lot of points on a short week, for this, but man, has Detroit handled some teams, and they've handled some good teams. So,
they've shown they can do it both ways.
Yeah.
I mean, they just shut the Colts down, but then they also can put up 50 points. So I'm just assuming Bears are going to get something. The Bears Caleb Williams is good for some splash plays and some plays that he kind of is the only person that can make. So it's kind of hard to scheme for. He'll make a couple off-platform plays that are just outstanding. Mm-hmm. So I'm just assuming they're going to have a little bit of that in them and contribute enough to this total. I don't think they're holding the Lions back by any means. I think the Lions are going to get the majority of this. But like to your point, it might be sweaty. I think it'll be even sweatier, expecting to go under, and then you see the Lions go off for 35 points.
Or Caleb Williams make something happen and stuff.
Yeah,
that'd be. I don't want to bet against that. So
we'll see.
Yeah, no, that's a good one.
But it should be a fun one.
At time of recording, the Baltimore games tonight, which we've already bet on the over on that one, so that's why they're getting the shirt today. But it's with that one should be good too.
It's a big over.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one for me was Dallas, New York, also on the Thanksgiving, the mid-afternoon or the middle game, the 4:30 game. Dallas is looking better. Like the Cooper Rush has played well, the quarterback for them. The Giants don't look great. But I think this is going to be one of those things where, they've made the decision to go away from Daniels. DeVito has, been tabbed as the person going forward, a bit more preparation coming into this one. So the best one for me was also the total was over 38.5.
That's a low total.
That's a crazy low total. And I only need New York to get me like 14 points or so, because I think Dallas at home is going to have the offense has looked a lot better the last couple weeks. So I was going to go over the 38.5 for that one.
Yeah, I didn't want to bet on either of those teams to do anything. It's just who knows what's going to happen with DeVito there. And then Cooper Rush is just not good. I don't know.
They played well. The last couple weeks, it's been better.
Yeah, I don't know if that was just a Commanders thing or what that was. But yeah, I wasn't comfortable with that. I guess I'm going to watch the game, but man, what a disappointing game between two disappointing teams. We'll see if they can do something here for your bet. Next one, I got Titans at Commanders. I'm taking Titans plus the points. We got plus 5.5. Titans are playing pretty good. Commanders, there's something wrong with them. And the Titans defense, man, they can show up. That defensive line specifically can show up. So we'll see. We'll see if Will Levis can keep them in there and not make the back-breaking mistake. But if they produce a fun game the way they just did with the Texans, the Titans should be able to hang in there with the Commanders. There's nothing that makes me think the Commanders are head and shoulders better than the Titans at this point.
Yeah, I was worried that for a Washington bounce back game. So that was I
don't know, man. Washington's just sputtering here.
Yeah. It might be the beginning of the end for them, maybe.
Well, they can win. I just want the Titans to cover. 5.5 is enough that I think they can cover that.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So that's.
Do you have any more from Thursday or Friday from the Miami, Green Bay, or Vegas, Kansas City?
No, you can. Okay. If you do, go ahead.
No, it was I really don't know what to do with the Green
Oh
Bay
wait, no,
Miami.
sorry. God, yeah, I do have my next one is the Packers game.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yep.
fire away.
All right. So I didn't know we were going in chronological order. I guess that
No,
makes sense.
it's
Yeah.
just, most
Okay,
people,
Jeff, if you need it
that's,
that way, then we'll
yeah,
do it that way.
that's how the
Um,
world works, but you do whatever you want to do.
okay, well, over 47.5 Packers Dolphins. I mean,
Mm,
Dolphins are rounding
okay.
into form, so is the Packers. We're talking about two pretty powerful offenses here. So I'm
Uh,
just assuming both of them are going to be able to move the ball. I don't know if I buy into this cold weather stuff with the Dolphins, at least not right now. I don't know if it's that bad. Now,
no.
maybe January, or not January, but December in KC is bad. But right now, I think it should be fine.
Yeah, that's a good question. That'd be check the weather on the day, probably,
Mm-hmm.
just to be sure. But yeah, I think that's good because I can't decide. Like the line seems about right. Like Green, it's a pretty much a pick 'em just with the home field with Green Bay -3. But Miami's been playing better, and I think
Yeah.
they might be the better team. So, but either way, their points are going to be scored. So
Yeah, I
I
think
think
so.
you're on the right side with that for the over there.
All right, what do you got?
That's a good one. Uh, I really wanted to do Vegas plus the 13.5 against Kansas City just because I just don't think Kansas City's blowing anyone out, but I'm going to stay away from it mostly because I think Minshew's injured now. Like, I don't know who's playing for the
Ritter?
Raiders. Yeah. So I don't,
He's
yeah.
not
So
good. He's
no.
not
So I'm going to
good.
stay away from that one. Okay. Um, what's the next one for me? Okay. The next one for me is Tampa at Carolina. I'm just going to take Tampa -6. I think the Carolina we saw against Kansas City was an aberration. I don't think they're going to be that good again. And I think Tampa's rolling.
Mhm.
So I think I'm
And they
going
got
to,
and they got Evans back.
yeah. So that's so I feel pretty good about the Tampa -6 on that one.
Yeah, that's good. I got Texans at Jags. Texans -5.5.
Mm,
If Lawrence isn't playing, which I don't think he is. I think he's done for the season, right? Hasn't he been shut down for the
yeah,
season?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't know why this line isn't bigger. Well, the Jags are horrendously bad.
Yeah,
Um,
Houston has not been great. I think that's the only reason why
yeah,
it's
but
not
at
been.
least they have a real quarterback in there. The Texans have Mac Jones, or the
Mm.
Jaguars have Mac Jones. They're terrible. They're just
Oh yeah, so the Trevor Lawrence said that Lawrence will practice Monday.
All right. So then let me qualify this. If Lawrence is not playing, I'm taking the Texans to cover. If
Okay,
he is playing, I'm just staying away from that game.
okay,
And
gotcha.
that's because we're recording this on Monday. We're not really getting the true reports on what things
No,
are
'cause
going to be.
that's all the way until Sunday too. That
Right.
one.
But
So
given right now, if Lawrence isn't playing, I'm taking the Texans.
mhm.
What do you got next?
Okay, that's the Sunday night game. San Fran at Buffalo. I think Buffalo's the better team, but I like the total more because it's 45.5, which I think is a little low. I think San Francisco is they're not good. They're really struggling. But I think they can. I don't think Buffalo's defense is that good. So I think that I only need a few points from San Francisco, and I think Buffalo's going to win the game and probably by a fair bit. So I think the most confident I feel about it is just the over 45.5 on that
I
one.
love your take when you just say they're not good. It's and you don't need to embellish it with other adjectives. They're not
No,
good is
they're not.
very
I know
final.
they're not good. It
Now
is.
my notes. Okay, so I'm on this game too. My notes are Bills -6.5 if Purdy doesn't play, which I think he's not.
Yeah, that's. I'd feel better about that too. So
Yeah.
that's
So this is
that's
all contingent. If he
yeah.
does
Another
play, I would
closer to the
stay.
time.
If he
Yeah.
does play, I'm totally with you on the over. If he doesn't
Mhm.
play, I'm with you on the bill. I'm on the Bills covering
Yeah.
because
Gotcha.
Allen can't do anything. So that team's just nothing without Purdy.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got?
Um. There's one I'm 50-50 on it. It was Seattle at the Jets. Again,
Oh,
another total was the over, just over 41.5 because it's low. And I think that, but I don't, I'm probably not going to do that one.
no. That Seattle at the Jets, Jesus.
That
No
was
way.
more of the want to bet on it. Otherwise, I have no interest in watching the game.
They're my disaster watch.
Hmm.
The Jets now or
Yeah.
complete. I'm utterly curious always to watch them to see how much lower this thing can go.
Hmm.
It's a complete mess. Them and Dallas are the disaster watch teams right now.
Hmm.
So I find it utterly compelling to watch those two teams just completely fall apart. My last one's Browns at Broncos over 41.5.
Yeah, that's a great one. I think
It seems like a bit of a low total, but
it's a
I don't
really
know.
low total for both teams who can score. So I
Yeah.
think Denver's is rounding into form. They'll probably win the game. I don't know by how much, but I think Cleveland will be able to score something. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's a great call. And
Yeah.
Winston's good. Winston's good for you can win that by Denver getting a blowout and like Winston throwing a couple of terrible interceptions or a pick six or something. That could absolutely happen. Or it could be the good Winston shows up and has some dynamic plays and passing. So that's probably the best one of the week, to be honest.
Yeah. That's it for my picks. I have
Yeah.
some previews. Do you have any more picks?
Yeah. Go ahead for the previews.
Uh, no, the Ravens Eagles. That could be a Super Bowl preview if the
Yep.
Ravens can get their act together. Either way, that's going to be a really good game. The Eagles are just rolling right now. They look like they're firing on all cylinders. The Ravens still have some stuff to clean up. Now we're recording this before Monday night, so we're missing the data point of how they do in the Harbaugh Bowl. But regardless of how they do there, this is still a big time game, and it's going to show a lot about both teams, no matter what happens. So that's a must watch game for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't know what to make of the Cardinals Vikings. I
Nope.
mean,
Depends which Arizona shows up.
yeah.
So if it's the one that Kyler Murray can playing well and moving the ball, then that'll be a good game. Otherwise, Minnesota's going to kill them.
And now the Steelers Bengals should be a big game, but at this point, the season's been so disappointing for the Bengals. Again, they might put up 30 points and still lose. Joe
I'm
Burrow
worried
might.
yeah, I don't know if it's going to be Joe Burrow putting up 30 points, or I'm worried that's just going to turn into a rock fight. And so I don't have any
I don't
interest in
think the
that.
Bengals can play a rock fight.
I know. Yeah.
Well, it's
You're
just,
right about that.
man, what a disappointing season for the. But also the Steelers just, losing that game in this. I guess it was a snow game and it was a strange circumstance. Also, Pickens, what's he doing at the end of the game there?
I know.
Getting into an argument with the fans. Like, grow up.
I've
That was
never
bad. That
been
was a
less
bad look.
interested in an 8-3 team than I am with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like they
Really?
don't feel like an 8-3 team to me. Like I'm not that,
a little bit of smoke and mirrors there.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just normally when a team's good, I like watching them no matter how they play. But that team, I just don't enjoy watching.
Yeah, I mean, they beat the Ravens and then they dropped that one to Cleveland. They're a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde team too.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're fool's gold too. They're going to get into the playoffs and then they're going to get beat by a proper team. The other thing, fool's gold. Speaking of Chargers and the Falcons are fool's gold the whole way. I think the Chargers are going to handle them. I didn't know what to do with the line here.
It's just Chargers by 1.5. If you think they're going to handle them,
then let's take the Chargers.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good call.
Yeah, I mean, just
what the hell's Atlanta done?
Nothing. And their Cousins is regressing to the mean. He's just looking like an old guy who can't move. Again, in my analysis of the new guard, we got Justin Herbert, who's got a rocket for an arm, and he can move, and he will move when he needs to. Cousins is a statue. He can move about three yards in any direction, and that's that. He can't extend a play. He can't get you a first down with those legs. He can't do any of that. So if the design play breaks down, it's over. Mm-hmm. Whereas Herbert, that doesn't matter. If the design play breaks down, he can make more happen. So this
Chargers
is
a pretty complete team. Like they're
really rounding into form.
Yeah, their offense. They've won 4 in a row. The offense is looking good. The defense is playing better. Like it's
all of that offensive. Well, not all of it. A major thing is their draft pick coming around. The guy from TCU.
Yeah,
from a couple of years ago, the fact that he's finally like producing, that was a big. Like McConkey is awesome. He's a steal of the draft, but they needed more on offense after losing a bunch of regular starters, especially Keenan Allen. So, God, I can't think of the guy's name, but the fact that they have 2 proper contributing receivers now is a big deal. Like that kind of filled in a gap that they weren't sure they were going to. At least a lot of the talking heads weren't sure what they were going to do on offense when they lost some receiving talent. But the Falcons, I just don't think they're going to get anywhere here.
So it's Ladd McConkey, Joshua Palmer, Quentin Johnston.
Is that the one? Yeah, Quentin Johnston. Yeah, he seemed like they drafted him in the first round too, and I think they
round 1, pick 21. Yep.
Yeah, so they seemed like they were kind of disappointed, but now he's finally showing like, oh, maybe he was a top round type of talent. So that's a huge X factor that he's finally showing up. And yeah, to me, this is another example of the old guard and the new guard. Like Cousins is just not it.
Yeah.
I think it'll eventually show that was a waste of money, and Penix should be in there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's take the Chargers -1.5 there.
Yeah, the Chargers -1.5 and the Cleveland Denver over 42.5. Those seem like those are my favorite ones of the week.
Yeah. Well, I had some favorites that didn't work last week. So anyway, so that's all I got here. Do you have any other game you really want to focus on here?
We've got the Baltimore Chargers game tonight at the time of recording.
Yeah.
Our wins from last week was the Denver -5 over Vegas, never in doubt. Green Bay -1.5, also never a doubt, just because San Fran's
terrible
flailing. The losses were the Indy +7.5 against Detroit. That was bad. The Richardson, right? That's it. That's like can't complete a pass. Like it was.
But that was the side the wise guys were on too.
Yeah.
Just shows you, like, just because there's a theory of why it should work and all of your trends, it doesn't mean it's going to work. But I follow a couple wise guy podcasts, and they were all on that.
Yeah. Washington -10.5. Man, that was not the wise guy side. Jaden Daniels just had a terrible first half, so that one was bad from the beginning. Kansas City, Carolina under 41.5. It was never even close, because
that was a Dover pick.
Yeah, it was a Dover pick, and I thought, like, where did Carolina get 27 points on Kansas City's defense? It was crazy. Yeah. And then the Seattle Arizona -1.5. That was another loss, because it was.
I think that was the right side of that one.
Yeah,
or maybe not. I don't know what the wise
Arizona's
guys
a better team.
Anymore.
They couldn't. No, that was.
I mean, how do you bet on a team that runs for 45 yards?
Well, I know.
And it's not like it's an anomaly. They do that every game. They just have a 0 run game. All right. Well, anyways, so hopefully this coming week's picks will do a little bit better than that. So we'll catch you guys next time.